Okay, I know I'm long overdue with this kind of video. And I know it took long, but welcome to my third and final TPOT prediction. We're at 15 characters left with a total of 45 characters, with 30 of them being eliminated. Speaking of the eliminated characters, let me just... Yeah, down here are the eliminated contestants currently. I accidentally forgot to flip over 2 of the puppets. Note, I do my predictions out of puppets for those who are new to the channel. And for those watching this prediction. And if you don't know, if you see a flipped over puppet, that refers to a character that's either been erased from the timeline or is not really with us right now. I forgot to flip over Bombi and Bell because they're not with us right now. Basketball, Gady, Barfbag, and Needle are all flipped over, either because they have been erased from the timeline or something. Maybe I'm supposed to flip over Ice Cubes as well, but I forgot if she even got erased from the timeline or not, because Ice Cube did sign a deal. Is that currently right now, Donut and Leafy, is a bit of a fun fact, is that these are probably the only 2 who did reject the deal from 1. Yeah, it's confirmed that Leafy did actually reject the deal. That means her whereabouts have finally been confirmed after, like, I think 6 episodes. While Donut, we did just see him stand up to 1. Okay, let's finally get on with the prediction. So to recap, Death Pack yet again and Team Music Note did just lose. But we're going to start with Death Pack yet again, since they all have lost their members in the Battle Royale Challenge. Anyway, so if I take away a character, that means they're safe. Safe are Black Hole, since he did have a major role with the whole crack in the sky. Why the fuck this is predicting Chicken Little in a way? Or at least Chicken Little kind of referenced the sky's falling type of stuff. And Fanny is the last one saved for the bottom 2, due to her being the only one still left that has some knowledge of 1. With the sole exception of Pencil and Donut. But when their team loses, we might get there. Unless I'm going to start with the merge right now. So Marker and Tree are our bottom 2. Also, I did not make any puppets where these 2 changed colors, because I'm going to be using... what I'm trying to say is I did draw out what they looked like in IDFB. You may look up said images on the wiki. Like I said, this one has the potential on being close, because both Marker and Tree are looked at as irrelevant compared to Black Hole and Fanny, who had massive roles with what's going on. Will this be the end of Tree surviving bottom 2s? Or no? Call this a hot take, but I don't think it'll end just yet. This will be his 4th bottom 2 in a row. And I say technically in a row because, think about it. Even though this losing streak did come to an end a little bit, he did... When the losing streak was going on with this team, he did survive against 3 other people in the bottom 2. Those were Gady, Robot Flower, and Pin. So Marker will be going bye-bye. Now we're moving on to Team Music Note. Anyway, safe are Pen and Lie. They easily seem off as the most relevant characters of the group. So, Tennis Ball and Bottle are left. But I think y'all know where this is coming from. Yeah, Bottle just doesn't seem that relevant. Not to mention, even with season 2 still being into account, Tennis Ball is just more popular in general. Okay, Marker here, and Bottle. right here. Okay, so we're at 13 characters left. And I know this does sound like a bit of a stretch, but I think it's time for a new teams phase. Pfft, just kidding, we're not doing a new teams phase. We're doing the merge right now. I think we're at a good enough point for everyone to be at the merge, since I think 13 people is good enough, given that we're eliminating 2 people. I know I'm supposed to have a chart and all of that just to, you know, confirm the order of team losing, the people getting out, but I was running out of time, so I apologize. Also, I heard that at this point of the time, we're going to have a character come back to the game, and there's 13 people. I think there's like 32 people out. We're not including any characters who have been erased from the timeline because, you know, or just not present with us right now. So I might skip over to the top 5. Here's who I think will be in the top 5 for the rejoin. Remote still gets a lot of hype, and many people hope for her to rejoin to this day. People said Fries has been done dirty towards Tennis Ball and TPOT 6. I mean, the vote count was like 38 votes apart. So I think with that kind of logic, Fries could have easily survived. It's just that, you know, Pin and Corny are here for obvious reasons. Season 2. And Puffball, I think some of her hype still remains. I guess just not enough of it. I could have put Snowball here, but he was just out. So, also not to mention he's the only one still holding a part of 2's powers. And it's also said he will have a large role with defeating 1. Because I'm hoping by the end of the season that, everything will be fixed and some people who were erased will come back to existence. Like Gaiety, Basketball, like they may return if one is probably defeated for good. But I think we can remove these 3 out of the picture. So Remote and Fries easily had the most hype. Fries got the second most votes for who got the host in BFDIA, while people said Remote was out a little too early. No, it's never said how many people would come back. So I'll just be safe and just predict that only 1 person would come back. I think we all know who's coming back and who has more hype between the 2. Y'all could argue that Fries has more hype, but like I said, Remote was out for way longer than Fries. Not to mention, Fries already made it far in Season 2 anyway, placing into the top 6. I would have loved for him to be top 5, however, though. But I think that's our only rejoin we're going for. Also, call this a bit of a stretch again, but I think we're still going to stick with the 2 people getting out type of thing. So I'm going to have half the people lose and half the other people win immunity. So the ones I think will win immunity are Pencil, since she's easily one of the most competitive players here. I think Pen will also take a spot with immunity. Okay, TB and GB are easily some of the smartest characters, and depending on what the challenge could be, they probably have a smart enough strategy to win. Grassy is said to be insanely important, so I guess Grassy can take a spot. Remote just came back, so we can give her a spot. And I think the writers did see how much Tree was in danger, so I'm going to say this is also a bit of a stretch on my part as well, but I think Tree will win the last spot of immunity. So it leaves Black Hole, Fanny, Book, Donut, Price Tag, Winner, and Lie at mercy. Okay. I'm gonna declare Fanny as the first one safe. And then closely followed behind Black Hole. Book. I think things are going between Book and Pencil still, so there's that going for it. And the last one from bottom 3 is predictable enough, Lie. Winner, Price Tag, and Donut are our bottom 3. Now we're finally getting to the point where someone who just joined since TPOT 1 is finally leaving the game. Or will both of them go? And then we had Donut, even though he's much of a fan favorite and he's much more calm where he is, started with like the pre-split and all that, and being a very reasonable individual and having some, angry moments that seem more justified now. I think his hype is starting to die down now, sadly. And I think he's going to be one of those that leaves. So, between Winner and Price Tag, who do I think would stay? It's hard to say, but I'm going to lean over to Winner. So, Donut and Price Tag are out of here. Donut and Price Tag, here you go. You know what? Now I think it's time to really spice things up. Instead of having 7 people win, I'm going to have 4 people win since we're at 12 people. Those 4 lucky people are, as I said beforehand, Pencil is a challenge beast. But I think she'll be one of those 8 that will lose here. Golf Ball's going to be one of the victorious ones. I'm not sure what the challenge is, but this probably might be one that Black Hole can probably barely just cheese it out. Lie will be one of the winners again. Well, not really again, but come on. I'll ever be safe again. And I'm gonna have one of the balls lose, so is that going for it? Forget it. Fanny. Okay, so you 8 are at mercy. I think the most voted individual will be Pencil this time. We already know how much of a challenge beast she is. Grassy has been insanely important, so I think he'll be next. Pen. Book. And Remote. Tennis Ball, Tree, and Winner. Y'all are the bottom 3. Like I said, anything that's going on between these 3 may not be too interesting. Price Tag gone out. The whole TB and GB dynamic may not be that interesting. And I think Tree's luck is starting to run out right now. Yeah, running out enough to the point I think TB might be the last person safe. Like I said, Tennis Ball has the advantage of being a Season 1 character, so that helps him in this case. Tree and Winner are out. Okay. We're at 10 people left. 10 people. We're getting this close to the finale. Okay. So a third of the people are going to win again. I think it's time I give Book a chance to win immunity. I think everyone had a chance at immunity. Okay. Pencil's also really competitive, so, and I've said this I think 3 times at this point, So she'll get the second spot. Yeah, I'm gonna give I think I'll give tennis ball the last spot. So we're at our final. Well, we're at our 7 people. We're about to be at the final 8 in the future. Well, not really in the future, but in a minute. Let's just make this one simple and short. Black hole, fanny, pen, golf ball. I think the last safe spot will go to the remote. If you're wondering why I'm so on board, this prediction is up to 15 minutes right now. But if you're wondering, I think Lyle will have a bit more votes than Grassy. We are really in a point where fan favorites are still around. We're at 8 people. I feel like when we reach 6 people, now I think that would be the good time to start doing eliminations. Single eliminations, to be precise. So this will be the last time that 2 people will be getting out. But instead, I'm going to have 2 people win immunity here. I think those 2 lucky souls are Golf Ball and Bug. Black Hole and Fanny are the first 2 safe. The order doesn't matter. So, Pencil. I think the rejoiner, the aura with the rejoiner with remote is dying down. I don't know how to word my sentences right now. But, like I said, the whole dynamic between TB and GB will get pretty boring. And Penn easily stands out with popularity, standing out well enough to be the last person safe. Remote and tennis ball? Bye-bye. I mean, not to mention TB still at season 2. Now we're at 6 people. And since we're really low in contestants right now it's time for single immunity and single eliminations again. Okay, so I think the sole immunity winner is Penn. Safe are Black Hole, Fanny, and Golf Ball. So Book and Pencil are bottom 2. The debuter aura is dying down with Pencil. It just died down with Lie, so it's bound to happen with Pencil. And now this one has the, potential on being close. I said that with a previous elimination. And both of them went through some form of flanderization, which, if y'all don't know what that is, it's basically when a character ends up becoming from decent to absolutely trash. In terms of characterization, they just become more rude, they become more annoying, they become more unlikable. Both of them went through this, but I think Pencil's flanderization was even worse. Yeah, worse to the point I think Book might be the last person safe. Not to mention, I think it's unintentionally Pencil's fault that Book became, the individual she became during the pre-split. Well, minus BFBs 1 and 2 and 14 through 16. Minus those, I think it's unintentionally Pencil's fault. Well, at least indirectly on her case. So, Pencil is the last person Was the first person to be out during the immunity phase. Pencil, you came up just short on top 5. But you still had a good run, though, as one of the strongest and most competitive players possible. I can't really have the same individual winning twice in a row, so I'm going to give the immunity spot to... Fanny. You know, I think I'm going to have someone other than Black Hole be the first one safe. So I'm going to say Golf Ball will be the first one safe. And then Pen. So it's just Book and Black Hole. Or will there be no more black characters, or will there be no more green characters? I think there might be no more green color characters. So Black Hole's the last person safe. Sorry, Book. I hope things are made up with pencil by this point. 41 contestants eliminated, 4 contestants still in. I think we're going to go with another final 3. So I think the last immunity will go to... Golf Ball. Okay. Since 2 of them are easily popular enough, I'm going to have one of them... I think I'm going to have 2 of them split votes. And those 2 that had to split votes are Black Hole and Fanny. Pen, congratulations on getting to the final 3. So between Black Hole and Fanny, who do I think will be in the top 3? Forget it. Fanny, welcome to the final 3. I know that's predictable and all, but like, come on. I had to wrap up this prediction at some point. Black Hole just came up just short on top 3. At least he got top 5, though. This kind of feels like a prediction. This kind of feels like a position you would get in the pre-split, not gonna lie. Or somehow close to that. It feels like my old prediction again from 2022. But call this a really predictable take, but I think Penn will get 3rd. I think things will calm down with Lai. Or at least things will tone down. So his popularity may be a little affected. He does have a chance on getting 1st, and the votes might be really, really close to one another. But I think Penn will get 3rd. And I feel like it'd be like 100 to 200 vote difference with the votes. So Fanny and Golf Ball. And I think it's probably a good time for someone armless to win a season. Will it be Fanny or Golf Ball? Given that she's had more relevance, and given that she wasn't an original character, okay, I'm going to cut the crap. Fanny wins. Yeah, I know this might be a really crappy prediction and all that, but come on. It was long overdue. Give me some slack, please. Oh, I'm finally done. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. Hold on, let me just put the puppets down. Bye.